Weird Al still got it. I could just end it right there, but I'm not going to do that to you nice, beautiful people. So, as you all may know, despite my inclinations toward rock and metal, I have always been a devout Weird Al fan, and I didn't get a new t-shirt this time because none of them stacked up to this shirt I got on the last tour. It's just fantastic. By the way, if my voice sounds really scratchy, it's because last night I was singing my heart out to all the songs he did. Let's see. I have the set list in front of me, so let's just see what I sang along to. Lame Claim to Fame, know all the words to that. Fat, sang along to that one. Foil, Smells Like Nirvana. Party in the CIA, It's All About the Pentiums. Another one, Rides the Bus. I was very surprised that he played that. I didn't think he was going to do that, but he did. Gump, Inactive, eBay, Canadian Idiot. Eat It, I Lost on Jeopardy. White and Nerdy, the song that introduced me to Weird Al, by the way, back when it first came out in 2006. Amish Paradise, gotta know the words to Amish Paradise. We All Have Cell Phones, well, that's just because there's only one line. We all have cell phones, so come on, let's get real. The Saga Begins and Yoda. Alright, so actually before I go down the set list, I'm going to say on the Alpocalypse tour, which you can see my review for that one earlier in my videos. I have a playlist of all my concert reviews, so you can easily find it there. On that tour, it's probably also just the venue I saw it at, because I saw it at a different venue, and on the Alpocalypse tour, the sound was a massive upfront sound, which is perfect for a concert. But at this one, it was more echoey, and the sound was more sparse. I didn't even need my earplugs, and as you all know, I always bring earplugs to concerts just in case, because I almost lost my hearing once at that Lamb of God concert, so I brought them just in case, but I didn't need them. And then, as far as the compositions themselves go, on the Alpocalypse tour, I found that they changed. No, on the Alpocalypse tour, I'm sorry, I'm not thinking today, they stayed true to the original songs. But on this tour, on some of them, they changed it up a little bit. So, I mean, I always welcome that. Like, when they did the second part of the medley with Eat It, I Lost on Jeopardy, they did this really slow, quiet, acoustic set, which I really enjoyed. That was a real treat, because I love acoustic music. Like, a majority of both my covers and my original compositions are largely just electric and acoustic guitars, so that was very nice. I can also imagine that after playing the same song the same way over and over and over and over and over and over again, it's going to get really boring really quickly. So it's always nice to change things up, keep it interesting. But let's go down the set list. Okay, so for Tacky, which he opened with, the band was on stage, but Weird Al was not on stage. He was on the screen, and he was in the hotel behind us, and the camera guy was filming him walking down the escalator and then down the hallway into the venue. And then I think either during the bridge or during the third chorus, he came in, and I kept looking back as the song was going, because I knew what they were doing, and I knew he was going to come back through that door, but I didn't know when. But then when everybody stood up and started cheering. I knew that was when he came up, so that was fun. Lame claim to fame. I threw my vocal cords out on the first song, and I didn't bring nearly enough water with me to sustain them, so that's why I'm sounding so froggy today. And the third song, now that's what I call polka. He does his thing that he also did on the Apocalypse tour, where I'm going to use this pillow as an example, where he takes his he has his back to the stage, and he raises his accordion up. Actually, it was with his left hand. He raised it up, and everybody cheers because it's going to be an awesome accordion song. And he says, "Are you guys ready to polka?" And then everybody cheers, "Hey, hey!" And then they do the polka medley of recent popular songs, so you gotta love that. And then we cut to our first little video that he likes to show while he's doing costume changes, because the next song was performed this way, so he had to wear the octopus suit and whatever it is his other backup band wears. And that reminds me, the things he played, the standout ones to me were Gandhi 2, which I had seen before, so I knew like all the lines of monologue, so that was really fun. And then there was the whole Celine. Oh, my little kitty wants to say hi. Oh, hello, baby. This is my kitty, by the way. Yes, you're such a good girl. Oh, she doesn't want to be held right now, so I'm gonna let her go. No, what are you doing? Hey. Well, cats. What can you do? Yes, you're a good girl. You're a good girl. Okay, now scurry along. So, I remember the Celine Dion interview, where the fake interview, of course, the LTV interview. What's your least favorite number? I don't know, 14? You're right. I hate 14. 14 is a stupid number. And then Gandhi 2, which, gotta love Gandhi 2. I always loved the Eminem interview, which I had seen on YouTube before the show, so I knew some of the lines of monologue. And also, that reminds me, reciting all the words. There are a couple sitting next to me. I could probably tell the guy was a big Weird Al fan, but his girlfriend or wife or whoever it was probably never heard any of his music before. And I could probably tell because whenever the song started, she would break down laughing, and then when the first chorus came, she would always laugh at the first chorus, because like, oh no, what's he gonna do to this other favorite song of mine? And she saw me sing along to all the words, and I was like going crazy. And that reminds me, during Fat, when he punches Santa Claus, it's like ho 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 ho. That's what I did, and she's just like, wow, you know all the words. And that reminds me, when I lost on Jeopardy, I know the whole Jeopardy monologue. That's right, Al, you lost, and let me tell you what you didn't win. A 21 volume of the Encyclopedia International, a case of turtle wax, and a year's supply of rice-a-roni, the San Francisco treat. But that's not all. You also made yourself look like a jerk in front of millions of people, and you brought shame and disgrace on your family name for generations to come. You don't get to come back tomorrow. You don't even get a lousy copy of our home game. You're a complete loser. Yeah, and that's when she cracked, and she's like, wow, you must be a fan. And I'm like, yes. But anyways, back to the set list. Performed this way I never really cared for, but it's always fun to see it live with all the different costumes. Because on the Alpocalypse tour, he wore a peacock costume. But on this tour, he wore an octopus with, like, I don't know, like a cheese head. So that was amusing. Dare to Be Stupid. I was never a huge fan of this song, but it was cool to see live because they wear the same yellow jumpsuits and the goggles, and you can just tell he just loves being up there doing what he does. First World Problems. I'm not a huge fan of this song, but it's very relatable. Definitely relatable. It was great to hear that one. Foil as well, I knew all the words to. I never seem to finish all my food. Smells Like Nirvana. Whenever I hear the original song Smells Like Teen Spirit, I sing this song because I literally have no idea what Kurt Cobain is saying in the original studio version. None at all. It's just like I'm like, dude, enunciate your words. And I actually kind of like the Weird Al version better because of that. And I think during the gargle solo, when he drinks the thing of water and he gargles the guitar solo, I think that was probably pre-recorded because, one, it sounded exactly like the studio version, and although it was a little bit quieter in the mix because he had the microphone away, the gulp noise he made was like the same gulp, and the microphone was all the way over here, and he ducked his head down here, and it's like gulp, and I'm like, okay, you faked the gargle. You most likely faked the gargle. But anyways, we move on to the medley. Now, they broke up the medley into 2 parts for this tour, but on the Alpocalypse tour was all a gigantic 16-minute medley. Party in the CIA, funny. It's all about the Pentiums. All my computer nerd friends love it. I showed it to them, and they're just like, yep, story of my life. Except for the line 100 gigabytes of RAM, because, okay, that song was written in 1999, and nowadays, having 100 gigabytes of RAM is very common, so that's not that impressive. But other than that, they love it. Handy, gotta love it. Bedrock Anthem, I have only ever heard it live. I don't know. I never really bothered checking it out. I don't even know what album it's on. Another One Rides the Bus. When he did that, I just went nuts, because I had no idea he was going to do that. I don't think he did it on the Alpocalypse tour either, so I'm just like, well, it was his very first song. The recording quality was bad, and it was for a radio show. It wasn't even a proper studio recording, but I guess it's popular enough that he decided to do it. And I like how minimalist it is, where it's just accordion and the bass drum. Just no other instrumentation, just him doing his thing. Ode to a Superhero, the old roadie stands next to Weird Al and holds up the harmonica for him joke, which got a bigger laugh on the Alpocalypse tour, but it was still pretty funny second time around. Oh wait, did I talk about Fat? I didn't talk about Fat. Oh yeah, the only thing I really have to say about Fat that stood out in my mind was on the Alpocalypse tour, Weird Al, when he punches Santa Claus when Santa comes out, the music kept playing, but on this one, there was like the record scratch sound, and the music stopped when Santa comes out, ho ho ho, ho ho ho, and then Al punches him, and then the music resumes. So that got a bigger laugh than I remember than the last time. Let's see. Oh, to a Superhero, Gump, Inactive, eBay, Canadian Idiot. There were fewer streamers this time when the bomb goes off. and they were only red, white, and blue. And I remember on the Apocalypse tour they were like green, yellow, purple, and orange. But yeah, Wanna Be Your Lover. Oh no, 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 no. This, the puns are so cheesy, not in a good way. It's probably one of Weird Al's worst songs. The only standout line to me was, "My love for you is like diarrhea. I just can't hold it in." That was the only one that made me laugh. I love that he goes down the aisle for it, though, and I recorded it. I haven't watched the recording yet, so I don't know how good it is. I may or may not post it. If I don't post it, you know it was bad, and there's probably a better recording of it elsewhere on YouTube. But moving on to the second part of the medley, Eat It. Gotta love Eat It. I Lost on Jeopardy. Gotta love I Lost on Jeopardy. I Love Rocky Road. I forget what album that's on. I never listened to that. Like a Surgeon. I haven't heard that song in a long time, and it was good to hear again. Oh, next up, White Nerdy. One of my all-time favorite Weird Al songs. The song that introduced me to Weird Al, and I find it very relatable because when I first heard it, I was white and nerdy. I'm still pretty white and nerdy, but not quite as white and nerdy as I used to be. Well, I might be more white now than I used to be, but I'm definitely not as nerdy. Yeah, and I know the whole rap, the whole song, even though I've changed a couple words over time just because sometimes I don't like Weird Al's word choice. First, my class started on my T, got skills on champion, D&D, MCR, you know that's better than MC, 40, I'll just have an old crazy T. My runes never spin, to the contrary, you'll find they're quite stationary. Although my action figures are cherry, Stephen Hawking and my library. My MySpace pages all totally pimped out, got people begging for my top 8 spaces. You know I know pie to 1,000 places, and got no girls past their word braces. I order all my sandwiches with mayonnaise on wisdom, mine's favorite, I've for days. My seam is gonna stay amazed, my fingers move so fast like a place. This is on Cure app I haven't run. App as Sky, no, I'm number one. Do fact calculus just for fun. Yeah, and it goes on and on and on and on. And yeah, like I said, I change a lot of the lyrics just because I don't like Weird Al's word choice. And speaking of word choice, that goes into word crimes, which I don't know. For some reason, I didn't really like it when it first came out. But then when I heard it live, I don't know. I appreciated how funny it was because it brings me back to my high school days where every day in class, to start off class, our teacher would give us a list of sentences. All of them had at least something incorrect English in it, or incorrect grammar or punctuation, and we had to circle it and say what the correct notation should be. So that brought me back. I'm glad I heard that again. He closed the set with Amish Paradise. Gotta love Amish Paradise. Gotta love it. And then at the end of the song, he introduced the band on bass, Blobby Bloop, on keyboards, insert name here, on guitar, Slurpity Derp, and on drums, John Bermuda Shorts. That's the only name I remember. Oh wait, the guitarist's name is Jim West. And that reminds me, on Eat It, the studio version, I think his guitar solo on the Eat It parody is better than Van Halen's solo on Beat It. There, I said it. Come at me, commenters. But anyways, after he did that, he's he goes off stage for a second, then he comes back, running back. Do you guys want more? Yeah! Well, too bad. I can't give you more. It's just not feasible, reasonable, realistic. And he keeps going on. I gotta go to sleep. I gotta travel to the next venue for the next show. And these guys need sleep too, so I gotta go. So then he goes off stage. And as we all know, Weird Al loves his encores. So he comes back out. Well, first, before he comes back out, the keyboard the keyboardist comes out and he does his thing where he's dressed up in the Sith robe and the ominous music plays and it's creepily lit, and he raises his hand and one half of the audience cheers, ah, and then the other side of the venue cheers, yay, ah, ah, ah. That's just great. And then the Stormtroopers and Darth Vader come out, and Weird Al comes out, the band comes out, everyone goes nuts thinking The Saga Begins is gonna play, but he doesn't play The Saga Begins. He plays We All Have Cell Phones. And that goes back to a skit that played earlier in the show, where he's interviewing, I don't even know who he's interviewing. I'm sure you guys are gonna attack me in the comments for not knowing who it was. But he's like, we should collaborate on a song where you come up with some lyrics and I put it to music. What do you think? And then the guy says, we all have cell phones, so let's get real. We all have cell phones, so let's get real. That's genius. That's fantastic. How'd you come up with that? No. That's not what I meant. We all have cell phones, so come on, let's get real. And he sings it so passionately. And then he comes back out on stage, and instead of playing The Saga Begins like everybody thinks he's gonna, they start playing, and they put it to music too, which was great. And he's like, everybody, stand up, wave your hands, and sing along. We all have cell phones, so come on, let's get real. We all have cell phones, so come on, let's get real. And as stupid and corny as it is, you can't help but sing along. Not to mention the lyrics are really easy to remember just because it's one line. How many? 11 words. Depending on whether or not you think cell phone is a compound word or two separate words. Going back to word crimes. Real life word crimes. But The Saga Begins, great as usual. And as usual, he holds the he's a ghost for a really long time. And I tried doing it as long as him, and I was like, but because my voice was just so thrown out and I had run out of water long before then, I just couldn't do it anymore, and I had to cop out like 3 seconds before he was doing it. And Weird Al has a high voice. Like, I remember a long time ago I was learning The Saga Begins, and my guitar teacher, because he knew the original song, he was helping me learn all the chords and stuff, and we were like humming the notes, and I was humming a D somewhere. I forget where the D was. E, and he's like, no, you have to sing it an octave higher. You sing it an octave higher. My voice doesn't go that high. The highest note I can hit, and I haven't hit this note in a long time, was the D above middle C, and I was proud that I could hit that. I have a very baritone voice, but I'm no opera singer, so I don't know where, what's it called? Bass ends, baritone begins, baritone ends, and altone begins. But anyways, The Saga Begins was great. Yoda, you gotta love Yoda. And he has accordion too, and I think did he have it on the Apocalypse tour? Maybe. But he had the accordion with it, even though the accordion isn't on the studio version of the song. Again, changing things up. That's always fun. And on the Apocalypse tour, since at the venue I was at, the seats come right up to the stage, he was able to put the microphone down to all the people, and the people could sing Yoda, yo 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 Yoda, yo 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 Yoda, and he did it to like 5 or 8 different people. But on this one, there's a barrier separating the stage from the seating, by like a 4-foot gap. There's so many flies in here, it's so annoying. But so the only person he could really do it to was the cameraman that was filming the show for the 2 monitors on either side of the stage. So he did it once to the audience. You guys sing it. Yoda, yo 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 Yoda, yo 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 Yoda. And then he says, "Hey, you cameraman, sing it." And then the cameraman, not knowing he's being addressed, just kind of stands there still filming. And he's like, "Hey, you, buddy, camera dude, down there, I'm talking to you." And then he takes his eye away from the lens and he looks up and he's like, "Me?" Like, you can tell he totally didn't know what was going on. And he's like, "Come on, you know the words. They're really easy. It's Yoda, yo 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 Yoda, yo 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 Yoda." And then since the microphone was pretty far away from him, like, it barely registered when he said it, and he sang it completely wrong. It was like, Yoda, yo yo Yoda, yo 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 Yoda. It was so funny. Even better than going up to the audience. It was great. Yeah. And then they stopped before the final Yoda. They did the Wish You Were Gone thing. I think that's on his 1996 album, where it's just him and his band, no instruments, all vocals, and they're doing these like barbershop quartet versions of all these different songs, and it just sounds awesome live if you ever see it live. He did it on the Apocalypse tour, and he did it on this tour, and it was fantastic. It's just so great. And then they kind of ran off stage pretty quickly, I might have to say. And I don't know why I'm thinking of this now, but John's Bermudas, however he wants to be called, his drum kit is like up and to the right. Well, stage right, the audience is left. And I don't know, it just gives the whole stage this really lopsided feeling. I don't know, I'm a fan of symmetry. I feel there's beauty in symmetry. So when things aren't symmetric, it irritates me sometimes. Not all the time, just sometimes. I'm not OCD about it or anything. But yeah, Weird Al still got it. I probably spent more time comparing it to the previous tour than this tour. Oh, and they didn't do the drum solo thing, which I talked about in the Apocalypse video. But yeah, definitely see them. They didn't sound as good, but I'm blaming that on the venue and not the performers. All the performers on stage were fantastic. So, just don't worry. You ever get a chance to see Weird Al ever in your life, do it. And since this is his last studio album, I don't know how many big tours he's going to go on, because he said he's just going to restrain himself to releasing singles and releasing YouTube videos because the current market won't allow me to release albums effectively anymore. But yeah, and not only is he a great performer, Weird Al, he's just a great comedian. Like, all the skits he plays in between songs, they're genuinely funny. He's a funny guy. He really is. He's just fan freaking tastic. Just, no matter what kind of music you're into, definitely everyone who doesn't live under a rock, no, unless you live under a freaking boulder, everyone should be a Weird Al fan, in my opinion. He's just too great a comedian and musician to be ignored. And yeah, I guess that's all I have to say about that. No, I should have done the Gump thing. And that's all I have to say about that.